Well, ladies and gentlemen, this seems to be an emergency episode. Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matthew have passed away. There was an original report on Twitter from some user, and it stated that I am not 100% sure, but at this very moment, at the time that I'm recording this, it's confirmed. So this happened at about 8 p.m. last night. Gaudreau and his brother Matthew, so Johnny and Matthew were riding their bikes, and then some some drunk driver hit them. The worst part of all of this is that Johnny Gaudreau was 31 years old. He was actually a very young, through all of this, and he was 31 years old, and he just turned 31. He's not much older than me. He's got about 6 or so months on me, at this point, but at that point of his life, and it's a shame too, and this is in his hometown, which is even more, to be born in there and then just have this happen at such a young age is just not, you never think that this could happen, and Johnny Gaudreau really was one of the best all-time players in my mind. I think at least one of the best American players of all time. Now, having spent most of his time in Calgary, he did rack up some points. He had a good 40-goal season in the year 2022. He did well. He did very well on a 115-point run. He did very well. And he had a plus-minus of 64, his best season at age 28. And that is good on him. So, yeah. I really can't believe he's gone. I mean, and to his parents, I mean, you're not supposed to ever bury your child. You're not supposed to, it's not easy too. And he was the star of Columbus at this point. And it's not easy to, go through this. I don't want anyone to, to go through this. But, it's just the way of life, too, sometimes. And it's, unfortunately, I don't know what to say. This, all because of some drunk driver, he's gone. And I've seen enough drunk drivers on the road too. I hate drunk drivers. And anyone listening to this podcast, if you think drinking and driving is cool, just stop listening, unsubscribe, stop following me. I don't want to see your face, okay? I don't want to hear from you or see you, because I just flat out don't agree, and I will gladly have less viewership and less listeners than to have you listen to this podcast. Just go somewhere else if you believe that's true. So the statement the Blue Jackets put out reads as follows. The Columbus Blue Jackets are shocked and devastated by this unimaginable tragedy. Johnny was not only a great hockey player, but more significantly, a loving husband, father, and son, brother, and friend. We extend our heartfelt sympathies to his wife, Meredith, his children, Noah and Johnny, his parents, their family, and friends on the sudden loss of Johnny and Matthew. Johnny played the game with great joy, which was felt by everyone that saw him on the ice. He brought a genuine love for hockey with him everywhere he played, from Boston College to the Calgary Flames to Team USA to the Blue Jackets. He thrilled fans in a way only Johnny Hockey could. The impact he had on our organization and our sport was profound, but pales in comparison to the indelible impression he made on everyone who knew him. Johnny embraced our community when he arrived 2 years ago, and Columbus welcomed him with open arms. We will miss him terribly and do everything that we can to support his family and each other through this tragedy. At this time, we asked for prayers for the Gaudreau family and that their privacy be respected as they grieve. Yeah. So I did. Now, Lego Rocks already did a video on this, and shout out to him. Going back to the original tweet, when the guy said, "I'm not 100% certain, but it looks like Johnny Gaudreau and his brother have died," he didn't have to jump on it. He didn't have to get out in front of it. This wasn't something that was happening at the trade deadline. This isn't even a new rule to the game of hockey. It should have just waited. And he didn't wait. And it's a shame he didn't wait, and that's journalistic malpractice on his part. I'm not giving that guy credit. Screw that guy for one thing, who came up with it. But what if it wasn't, Matthew and his brother? What if it was, Joe Schmo and Tommy Schmo, and they were riding their bikes, and then some a drunk driver in an SUV hits them. What then? Would you say, and there were many people, would be many people that would say, "Oh, thank God, Johnny's alive." And yet, at the same time, they would just who cares about that guy from New Jersey? Like that would be the attitude of some people. But, and it's a tragedy when this happens in general. And this guy's life is ruined. He was 29. I'm not shouting out his name or anything. He doesn't deserve a shout out. The only one that really has deserved a shout out here is Lego Rocks. In terms of covering this story, it's Lego Rocks 99 on the YouTube. So there is that. I just can't believe he's gone. I mean, this is, we get this 8 p.m. Pacific time, mind you, that dropped. So some of you were already in bed when this dropped. I don't know what to say with this. He is, I really think he was like one of the best American players to ever do it. And I think he would have went to the Hall of Fame had he had another 10 years or so in his career. I genuinely believe that with Johnny Gaudreau. Even if he never played in a Stanley Cup final, I think he could have gone to the Hall of Fame. But we don't get to know because some drunk driver in an SUV, some driver in an SUV decided to drink liquor, and we don't get, and we don't get those, and we never figured that out. From every indication, Johnny Gaudreau and his brother, Matthew Gaudreau, he's not in the NHL. Matthew Gaudreau never was, but from every indication, they were close. They were good people, and they're gone, and there's no bringing them back. And going back to the drunk driving thing, if anyone thinks that is justifiable to do all that and go out drinking and everything and everyone, and and after everything there, and not call an Uber. We have Uber. We have bartenders on duty for a reason that can call you a cab, whether it's their cell phone or a landline, because some bars still have landlines. The bartender. If you're running a bar and anyone even looks gives you a hint of that, just call them an Uber, call them a cab, call them something, or have someone, or if you know their spouse, you know someone who can pick them up, you call that person, and you have and you let that person ride shotgun or in the back seat or wherever, rather than having a giant accident like we had in New Jersey last night. This really is, this is, a lot of athletes don't really experience this. I think when Roberto Clemente died in that plane crash in '72, it was a shame. I mean, he was a World Series champion. He was, he had 3,000 hits exactly, and we don't get to see him get another 300 because his life was cut short. He was about 37, 38 years old when he died, and he was worthy of being in the Hall of Fame. Roberto Clemente. Don't get me in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, and he left behind small children too, and it's and we've seen the young guys, whether it's Avicii or some of the rappers, and they die at 28 because they do drugs. That's also a tragedy too. But and we should be responsible. We should be taking care of ourselves regardless of what happens to us. It's how we respond that moves us forward. Johnny Gaudreau is is someone that we should model our playing style after, but we should also model our lifestyles after him. I mean, he lived a good life. That's how we should do it. I wish we could, take from him what he taught us. And, I was never a Blue Jackets fan. I was never a Flames fan. He was on teams that I was never going to root for anyway, even though I've worn a Columbus Blue Jackets t-shirt. I'm not, I will be a Panthers fan. I will be a Capitals fan. I will be a New York Rangers fan before I will be a Blue Jackets fan. But, today I'm a Johnny Gaudreau fan because he had an impressive career, but he lived a better life than most people in the world ever do. And he got to play the greatest game in the world, and he got paid a lot of money too. And he signed for a lot of money too. Very, very few people will, get this opportunity. He went to the fullest extent of it. Yes, he may not have been the best at it. When you're competing with McDavid and Draisaitl and McKinnon, it's kind of hard to be, it's kind of hard to get over that hump. But he gave it his all, and that's all we can ask for. That's all anyone can ever ask for. I liked watching him play. I did. He was a great talent. The Blue Jackets getting him from Calgary was probably one of the best decisions the front office of that organization ever made, and I don't think they regret that decision. They certainly do not. The Flames getting him in the draft, they got him, and he really was, something special. Boston College is going to be is going to have some memorial to him soon enough. I just really can't believe that we have to wake up on a Friday morning and hear this too. The off season has not been filled. I've not been covering the off season, and I didn't want to cover something like this. I wanted to talk about arenas too, and even though that episode had just dropped, this is still more important. I don't care. I'm not even rolling the intro on this today, but I'm putting this on. I'll put this on YouTube. I'll put this on Spotify. I'll put this on Instagram because people need to know this. And people need to hear this out. Johnny Gaudreau is, probably could have been the best American hockey player. He had 243 goals. If I'm reading that, if I can pull that up. 243 goals. He had 500 assists. That's Laney McDonald territory. He certainly would have had over 1,000 points, had he continued. And he didn't play all full seasons. He had one in his first NHL season. He played in one game. He got a goal and he got 1 point, and that was the 2013-2014 season. Then next season he gets 64 points. He gets 24 goals and 40 assists in 80 games, which is pretty good. He finished just under a point per game. He had 743 points, and he played in 763 games. He was dancing along that point per game line, and for his career overall. And I think he could have done. He could have had a little more in him had he played some more years, and having that good season in 2021, 2022 was probably the best thing, his best year. I mean, being a winger, playing on the left wing may seem easy, but it's hard. Every position in this game is hard. But Johnny excelled at it, and for that we will remember him, and everything. We will also remember his brother. We'll do everything to support him at this time. I think I'm not wearing my Columbus Blue Jackets shirt, but I've got had I known that sooner, I might have worn it and been on camera. But I just, I don't want to see this happen again, too. And I want my listeners to understand that, take responsibility. If you have a hint of wobbliness, or you're slightly drunk, just call an Uber. Just be safe, please. I'm begging you. We cannot. Too many good people have died already, and it's not. And it's a shame that we have these things happen, and this is really only the time we talk about it, or unless someone is close to you, or unless on the very rare occasion, there's something that's just major tragically happened. There was a drunk driver. He was that killed one of the Towson alumni, who happened to be a cop, and then this just blew up, and I didn't ever have the chance to meet him. Oddly enough, he was also born in 1994, but he was a little late to us. He started college a little later than me, so and then he went in as a junior, so I never actually met him. I saw him play a few times, but then he was gone because of some, drunk driver. So it's not easy. Towson has also had a alumni issue as well. An alumni situation, something like that happened to the alumni as well, and I've got to just, there I go again. So so there's that. Don't know what else there is to finish off as, but I think that'll do it. If you like this, obviously check out the links below. Not going to promote much, like this, share it with a friend because we need to get the word out that drunk drivers need to be stopped. And that'll do it for this episode. Peace out.